What is it?
Bond district deal.
It should be
Live in the color. Ready? Here we go. Please join me in flag salute. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Good afternoon, Commissioners. I appreciate you fulfilling my request for a special meeting this afternoon. We're going to have some action when we come out of this meeting, so there'll be some things that we'll need some motions on if you guys are all in agreement. I do want to talk a little bit about the lack of one of our strata of administration to want to come out. I mean, it's going to be part of our problem that we've had and we've experienced over the years. So I just something to banter about a little bit with that. It is absolutely necessity at some point. We've talked about the necessity of another form of an administrator too. So when we come out, I'm going to need some motions, and then we'll have some discussions with those motions, and then so we're going to be here a little bit. I do have to pick up Clifton and I, Commissioner Beth and I both have kiddos. We have to pick them up at 3:18. So if we have to come back, I'll bring my little man here and he can hang out in Shane's office or something. So if we do need it, I don't think we're going to need that long of an executive session, but at least 15 minutes, so then we can come out and talk. So I ask that the commissioners I don't have the case memorized.
I have it somewhere here. Are we going? It's not yet.
Commissioners, I'd ask myself and the three commissioners go into executive session for 15 minutes. We'd leave this room, return back at 2:47 under KSA 75-4319B2 for the consultation with an attorney for the public body or agency, which were deemed privileged in the attorney-client relationship.
I'll make that motion.
Right here, second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
about cars and learning about,
Oh, you'll never forget that Florida.
no,
Although my dad tries that now.
I went,
At his age, he tries to tell me, I don't know, I can't do it no more.
well, see, my dad, you know, he's been working with, Alan's salvage yard, you know, they
Yeah.
bought Grandpa out. And, Dad, this new stuff just drives him crazy.
The new stuff is hard.
Well,
My cousin Frankie that owns 3D, he's even having problems.
oh yeah, and it's just getting worse and worse.
There's a lot of people that
We're
don't.
related. I don't think, I mean, I guess, as long as my, you know, I'm like seventh or eighth generation, I can remember something back in my book. I don't know. I looked it up just because I just modeled my about the author, because I didn't even want to do an about the author,
Yeah.
Jim Bauer paid me.
Yeah.
And so, I just modeled mine after Don and Fred's. I just went in, okay, that's what they thought about, okay, that's what I
That's
thought about. But I'm sure somewhere way down the line, because, you know,
It's a small.
it's not the Allens that, well, the Allens have been here for a long, long time.
Well, I don't know which Allens are you
But I'm not
related
related
to
to,
in town.
I'm not related to Skitch or Jeff. It's funny, because Skitch and Jeff aren't related, and I'm not related to either one of them, so there's three distinct Allen families in Fort Scott.
It's scary, you know?
That's
And we've been here a
crazy.
long
Are you
time.
sure you're not related somewhere?
Yeah,
Yes,
well-
I am.
Well, my daughter married an Allen, and I don't think,
Is that you?
You're right, that could be a fourth Allen family, I always forget about that bunch. Always forget about that bunch.
Damon,
Yeah, but see, I think Damon's related to Joe through his wife.
yeah, how weird is that?
Yeah. Cause wasn't she an Inkster?
She's an Engstrom,
And see, they're sisters.
yeah.
She married,
Shelley.
which Allen did she marry?
Who? Richie. Are you talking about Shelley?
Richie might be related to,
Richie is, Damon's dad.
Richie might be related to Pete Skitch.
Yes, yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
so there's just three.
Cause we have to
We're
get on the
still-
line on that because my great aunt, my dad's aunt is married to an Allen, which is related to Pete Skitch. I'm like, oh, you're not related to your husband, are you? So it was on opposite side, but you know, after my husband and I got married, we got to talking and he's like, he mentioned Chuck Wheeler. I'm like, oh yeah, that's my cousin. He said, that's my cousin too. And I'm like, ooh, this could be bad. We're married, dude. So it was on opposite sides.
Oh, but yes,
Oh,
yes, yes, yes.
It's funny how that works too, you know? It's like all the Larges, you know, my grandpa, Charlie Large married my grandma. I'm not related to any of the Larges by blood, but they're, you know, when we have family deals, they're there. And that's weird. It's always weird,
Yeah,
so.
yeah, but you gotta be
Because,
careful
you know,
around
like,
here.
the Marshes and Pellets, they were in the Garland area right after the Civil War. And the Shins and the Van Burens and Bronson, well, they were out there about the same time. And, but see, I thought I was related to Rick Hurd. Because, and it's on this, there's somewhere in my family tree, the Wigginses, I'm related to the Wigginses. It's way back. But I was telling Shirley a story about this Wiggins family. They came through and it started out, this guy, he was the founder of the Reformed Pilgrim Church. And back east, back in the 1700s. And during the Civil War, they drug this dude out of his house, and the British sympathizers shot him and his neighbor. And there's this big monument to this dude. His name was Valentine Leonhardt. And I was telling Shirley this story. She goes, "That's funny. Rick's got that same person in his family tree." And then we tried to figure out, okay, where did we what does that mean? I mean, like, we're probably 8 cousins 3 times removed or something, but still, we have. But the crazy one is I did my DNA through Ancestry. Oh, that's wonderful, because it just starts saying, this is your 7th great-grandfather. Oh, really? I didn't have that one. I mean, it just, like 95% chance this is your, well, that's pretty good.
Yeah,
But,
I don't know if.
but I did it.
yeah, no.
I love it. But I did it, and it showed my Aunt Vivian, my dad's sister, as either being first, like first cousins, what theorized, which aunt, first cousin, that's pretty close. But my cousin Daniel, Laura's boy, Laura Aldridge is my aunt. And, well, she's my mom's half-sister, but anyway, so she's my aunt.
Yeah.
But Daniel and I, it still hasn't put us together. And Daniel did his DNA. And it still hasn't put me and Daniel together, and that's weird. Because we're first cousins. But yeah.
Yeah.
There are people, there are sometimes people in your own house that are sometimes really.
Yeah.
My son went to France for his last year of college. Great opportunity. I was like, yeah, man, I wish I was that brave when I was young to do something like that. And he came back, and he is a Bernie Sanders Democrat.
What?
Yeah, I had cousins that did the same thing. They'd go overseas for them and,
And
American.
he came down, in fact, he was down to East Village, to the city, came down with the church. And after church, that's kind of the ritual, if all 3 kids go, we'll all go to lunch together. And my oldest daughter told him, El Charro, if you don't stop talking this crap, you can't come see me. She was, I'm sorry, we can't talk politics anymore. She was got stop. I was like, he was doing the same thing to me, and I was like, stop.
Yeah.
I'm willing to pay a little bit more, so don't have, can't have, and blah, blah, blah. I said, you're single and you live in Kansas City, you make $100,000 a year, you can. I go, but here's the deal, there's a charity out there you can give to right now that would help those people.
More effectively than you could.
So, I was just thinking about that.
I got a print
He
bigger,
said that.
but that's got,
What are we looking
That's
at?
what
here?
she wants.
that's the thing you guys were talking about. I need to print a big one, but I just got their stuff, so.
Well, the hand big one here. Where'd it go? Over there, on the ledge. I
Okay.
bet.
Is that the, that's not the street deal, that's not the roads deal.
No, this is
This is
the wind
the
farm.
wind farm.
Where the wind
this is
turbines
a
are
little
going.
different. Yes, this is different. Sorry. And probably putting this on, the website
Mhm.
might also be very helpful. And
Yeah.
that one as well, that way people have one place they can go.
I need one of those as well.
Does this
I
show
was
that?
trying to show my husband on my phone, and you know how that works, 'cause I don't.
So these are the turbines, the little dots are the turbines.
Some of them are turbines and some of them are like proposed. And some
Yeah.
of them
Yeah,
are-
some of them are proposed and some of them are possible, or,
Yeah, I seen.
The lighter colored ones, you can hardly tell it here, but these lighter colored ones are, oh, here, oh, they're different color on this map. Let's just make cool cake for people, make it different colors. Turbine delivery traffic, oh, that's very interesting.
Is it?
Well, this is how when they,
Yeah.
yeah, so when they bring the turbines in, they're gonna come down this.
Tells you what
Yeah, it
roads you're gonna
shows you
use.
how they're referring to the sites.
Oh, the highways, are the highways on there? Because the highway guy told me they have not. I just talked to him. He said they have not come to an agreement or anything yet. So where's this,
Here's
where did this
39.
come from?
From them.
Hey.
It's-
JR.
That's the whole
I'll
project.
call him again, but he says they have not come to an agreement on which highways they're gonna use yet.
Well, because they had me give them an address the other day for that Mayhem yard. That's on
That's on.
That's
the end
here.
of 3 highway right on 39.
That's
Yeah,
here.
we don't know who that is. Yeah.
In fact, you might wanna add to your key over here and color that in and make it a little extra, and then at the substation too, but.
See, that's theirs.
So they are gonna come down.
No,
They're gonna line.
I assume that laydown yard means where they're gonna bring the blades and all the
Yep.
pieces and stuff to
Where
set
their trailers will be and everything else. They
See,
haven't
one of
even-
the things
they've hardly
I
started.
heard him say something about was that they will probably, more than likely, try to take all the components right straight to the spot, because then you have to move them twice.
Yeah.
That's true. Oh, here it is. There it is. The only other thing, what is an O and M building? What is an O and M building?
That's their maintenance building, like down there by Keller's deep well,
See, it's right next to,
by the
see,
substation.
we drove around, Roy and I drove around over here Sunday, because I hadn't really seen it.
The big hill that comes down by
Yeah.
Keller's daughter's old house, if you
Yeah.
go down it at
Yeah.
the bottom, that's
Yeah.
where the substation, the maintenance building and all that'll be.
So they're going.
Well, this is Janet, this is over at Hyville, this is Hyville, this is Foster's, and Erickson's, and the green, I find this, this is not right. Wait a minute, yes it is. Yes, this is where Janet is.
I wonder if I can have those sheets back.
Yes.
If I can have those sheets back. Commissioner Beth, I need those sheets back, thank you.
Okay, we are back in this room out of the executive session at 2:47. We do have action. I move that we resume our special meeting
Second that.
At 2:47.
at 2:47. Do I hear a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Commissioners, I need authority to respond to legal counsel with regards to some issues that we're having with B-Works. So I need your authority to basically respond back to that attorney.
Do I hear a second, or motion?
I'll make that motion.
Do I hear a second?
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries.
The second motion that I request is having a point person, this is complicated on some levels, giving a commissioner the ability to have a conversation with the clerk's office with regards to some HR functions.
I make that motion. We can appoint Commissioner Beth to that position.
Do I hear a second? Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Aye.
Glad you voted for yourself, Commissioner Beth.
Yeah.
And then the third motion that I need is a commissioner to basically take on some HR functions, giving the ability to, we have no one else really to do this. We need someone to come in and do an investigation or deal with some HR functions along with the clerk's office. So I need that support. We've had these conversations before where the county councilor has put himself in a position to where he ends up being a witness. Material facts that are important to a possible employment matter that ends up having legal issues. It's happened more than I'm comfortable with. So I really need someone to be able to take that lead and have that ability. I mean, Commissioner O'Hare has already been granted, back in August of this year, been granted the ability to deal with all Sparks issues, Spark funding issues. So, I think Commissioner O'Hare would be, and my suggestion would be the best candidate on a temporary basis until we can maybe figure out another option.
Go ahead.
I'd like to make the motion to allow Chairman O'Hare to continue what was already, as stated by Councilor Meeks back in August, to be the lead on Sparks.
Lead on HR functions.
HR functions.
Yeah, I think with the Sparks, lead on any Sparks issues, but now also,
And also the HR.
right.
Here a second.
I second that.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
And then the fourth thing to talk about is getting us some help with the HR function. Having someone it doesn't have to happen today, but having someone in place that can do the different functions, exit interviews, pre-screening employment, things of that nature, and dealing with possible HR problems. Obviously, we've talked about this before. We've actually had this conversation over the last couple of years about, I'm not saying adding, there's ways to do it without adding strata or costs. But we need to start thinking about it on how that works, because there are multiple problems that we've run into over the years about HR functionality. Obviously a lot of those I have specifics that we can't talk about because it's identifiable non-elected personnel, but somehow we got to get in the 21st century. I mean, that's point blank. That's just, we're not there.
That was observed by Commissioner Beth, that we need to get into the 21st century, and we've been trying to move that direction for a few years, and it's time that we move closer to what the 21st century looks like.
Right. Well, it's fascinating because statutorily nobody that's in this organization is actually responsible for HR.
No.
I mean,
But you're asking us to start making that consideration, give some thought. And
yeah, I really
I'll
think
have a lot of questions.
Yeah, I think it's obviously the clerk's office has done some HR function, but they're not statutorily required to do that. And most clerks in the state don't have HR backgrounds, and they can end up opening up to liability.
So one of the things that would probably be helpful for us is to allow the commissioners to call you and ask the questions and have a conversation with you on how this would look, and and your recommendations.
Well, I think,
to bring back to the full commission to actually act on it.
I think it's more important we have that conversation in open. I mean, there's nothing confidential about that. I mean
just some preliminary stuff so we don't try to go down the rabbit hole all the time.
Well, I think we should probably something on the next agenda, or some agendas in the future, have a good hour of just talking about what an HR director does.
There you go.
What that function looks like, why it's so important, why we've been talking about it for so many years, just interacting and having that pre-employment conversation, having them sign the handbook up, all those things that quite frankly, don't have the strata, we don't have the administrative person in place to do that, or the time. I mean, everyone's busy.
And then you're talking about a handbook, I know that they get a copy of it, where you very rarely follow up on it. And they don't have exit interviews or things like that. And it'd be very good conversation, but I don't know how many I'm sure that most of us here, the commissioners, have been involved in how that HR looks in a corporate world or in a business world, and I think we need to move that direction, that our organization, because we got 105 employees and multi-million-dollar budgets, and if we don't have the information, we have a difficult time making sound decisions.
Well, that's the other thing too. This could be potentially a shared service too. I mean, we might be able to figure out a way to, tie in with another municipality, or even hire like a contract employment, like some kind of agency to handle our HR, just to have that contact person, or have someone that like all of us wear multiple. I mean, Mr. Walker's in here. He's multiple hat wearer. We all do different functions within the organization, and we talked about this back in January, February, and then when I was doing my budget cycle last year, it creates sometimes real awkwardness with regards to how the functionality works. I mean, a county administrator is different than a county counselor. An HR person is different than a county administrator or a business manager. I mean, there's reasons why you have those people in the positions that you have, and when a person wears 4 or 5 hats and does 4 or 5 different functions, it creates problems.
And we've also talked about some of the functions that the HR director could do, and there's things that could be handled under the HR that would save us money on some of the billing issues that we're doing right now, paying outside agencies to do them.
Yeah. Well, I really appreciate the idea of just having maybe an hour on the agenda to just really have a
So we'll just have Kendall put that on the next agenda?
Right.
Yeah.
And it doesn't have to necessarily be an hour, but I can bring in some general language on what an HR director does. I mean, it would actually free up, 2 different, one department for sure, one elected official could actually maybe have more time to, and not have that worry about am I doing this right or wrong, or, you know, things like that. So it could help the establishment.
Not to be constrained by time, we could just put it on the end of the agenda,
Yeah.
and it'd be the last agenda item for the day, and we could discuss it as long as we want to after, on that last item.
Yeah, I think that,
Yeah.
and Commissioner Harris brought up a good point. We don't have to have a time constraint, but we do need to start talking about some global,
Okay.
what it looks like 5 years from now. And
Yes.
and like I said, I don't think we don't have to add any tax, you know, any additional cost to hire an HR director or another administrator. There's money to be had within the organization that we're spending, giving outside agencies that could be brought in.
Yes.
And I think Commissioner Beth actually touched on that before, and we've found that to be very apparent with our new hire, with our business manager.
Very good.
So Kendall, would you put that on next Tuesday's agenda at the end of the agenda? Okay, thank you. Anything else?
No.
Then I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
I'll make the motion to adjourn.
Do I hear a
Oh,
second?
sorry, just
I
sorry.
retract that.
Well, it's a special setting we need someone to help with an employment matter right now. I wonder if we should do a motion to,
Okay, but I would make a motion to allow Justin to seek outside input on an employment issue.
Okay with that?
yeah, I'm probably only gonna need about
3 hours?
3 to 5 hours
5 hours?
of
Oh, that's fine.
possible, because obviously, I am a potential witness with this matter, and so because of that, I need to make sure I don't, overstep, because, obviously I can respond to the request, but it's a matter of, if it goes any further past that response, I have material facts that are important to that I
Sure.
learned and I learned that not as county council, but more of an administrative type role that I've played over the years.
So, speaking of that, while we're into this motion, we've been working together for 6 years, and you've been
It's actually,
kind of
we're on 7.
quasi doing that type of multiple hats ever since I've been here, and I know you were probably doing it prior to my tenure. So I think it's time to make this move, discuss it, and see how we can.
Because
move forward.
I'll be honest, the one part of this that, and I've talked to other county councilors in the last 2 days, the one part of this that has created the conflict is that HR function.
Yes.
That's where my, uneasiness comes from, is when I go and talk to a department head or an elected official about an employee that, or any issue that comes to employment, the red flag goes up. My function as county councilor gets tied in with an HR, and usually how it works is the HR director would come to the county council or to legal and say, hey, I've got this scenario, give me advice, and that stops that direct contact. Well, when you have direct contact and you're asking questions directly of that person and they tell you X, Y, and Z, that's a material fact that's important to how the case or how something might move forward, and
Turns you into a witness.
turns me into a witness.
Yes.
Yeah. And I did talk to a county councilor this morning, and he has testified one time he's been doing this a lot longer than I have, but he did end up testifying once in a county matter, and he knew exactly my scenario that I was trying to avoid. But in this current issue, it was unavoidable. I had direct contact with multiple individuals that had material facts that I learned during my time. So it's.
So again, I'll make a motion to allow Justin to seek outside
Legal counsel.
legal counsel anywhere from 3 to 5 hours.
Second?
Yeah. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Now, I would entertain.
Now I'm done. Sorry. Thank
Now I
you.
would entertain a motion to
I make a motion to adjourn the meeting, please.
do I hear a second?
Second.
All in favor? Aye. Motion carries. Are you?